And Ted, you know, you mentioned the atmosphere. I really think as we look at the stats here from John McEnroe, obviously over 30 years old, has been from New York all of his life, and I think there's something about the atmosphere in an evening match like this. It's kind of every year, one night in the first week of the Open kind of jumps out, and tonight to me is that night.
Well, it's interesting, and something maybe to discuss tonight is that the last 2 years when John has been beaten here at night, he was the favored player. I'm not so sure that too many people consider him as his parents. Well, Mr.
Mrs. McEnroe has left.
Right, Mr. McEnroe's there.
Yes, she left a little bit nervously with some of her girlfriends. They did the interview in the studio, and Mr. McEnroe's been left to hold down the fort. She was nice enough to come in and talk to us for a while.
Well, we're about ready to go, Ted. Huge roar up for John. McEnroe will be serving in the first game of the first set. Look at this crowd out here tonight. 20,000 people just packed in this stadium. And there are moments, as we've said, at the U.S. Open, and this is one for 1990.
Hey, I just go by what the umpire says.
McEnroe will serve to 24-year-old Andrei Chesnokov.
McEnroe to serve.
John waiting for every person to be seated. There are a lot of people who hope that's an omen.
Well, if that doesn't say something about the one-sidedness of this crowd, even with Gladnost, I think and that expression is not going to change during the whole match. That's how intense that kid is.
Soviet tennis had perhaps its finest moment right here on Tuesday when Alexander Volkov knocked out Stefan Edberg. Chesnokov hoping to follow up on that tonight.
Just wide. Chesnokov showing a lot of respect for the McEnroe serve. He's about 2 or 3 feet behind the baseline. There you see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, no flash photography, please. Thank you very much.
Stephen Wynyard of Great Britain is the chair umpire for this match. Andrei Chesnokov currently has achieved his highest ranking, number 10, and he won at Monte Carlo and was a finalist at the Italian. McEnroe begins the match by holding serve. Stadium Court, the U.S. Open on USA. John McEnroe. He's in the third round for the first time since 1987. And the 10th ranked player in the world in his way as Andrei Chesnokov serves.
You got to think that Chesnokov perhaps just a little bit nervous here at the start of this match because, as you mentioned, Vitas, big roar went up for McEnroe early.
The expression won't change much, will it?
No, not at all. And neither will the determination.
Look at the Chesnokov report card.
Well, he obviously is very tough from the backcourt. He does move extremely well for a big guy, and there's no question that he is in great shape. But he's served not what you'd call a boomer.
And once you hear that, McEnroe's got to put on a little bit of a smile when he plays somebody like that. Great serve and volley. He's plays that aggressive style all the time, and that he's really going to have to do that tonight. Great touch, even though he's a power player. And the only thing we don't know about, the question mark, is conditioning. And what we mean by the conditioning is he's worked exceptionally hard the last 2 months, but can that make up for a 6-7 month layoff? And also, don't get fooled by the look of this kid. A lot of times he drops his head a little bit, almost a little bit of when Ken Rosewall sometimes would miss a ball, and he'd kind of nod his head down. Oh boy, I missed that shot, and then the next one's a winner. He will fight till the very, very end. I watched him play at the Italian Championship, and he played some of the greatest matches I've seen this summer.
John let that go, and it dropped in. Yet as McEnroe thrives so well in these conditions, how will Chesnokov respond and react to a tennis experience that you won't find anywhere else?
Well, I watched him play some great matches, as I mentioned before, at the Italian, and you've got great atmosphere here at the U.S. Open, but you should try playing over there with a full stadium of screaming Italians at the Foro Italico. That's an experience that one has to try at least once in his lifetime, and you'll never forget it.
Like they say, if you can play there, Vitas, you can play anywhere.
That's a great example of what you want to do when you're an aggressive volleyer. We saw a couple people during the week miss volleys by laying back. He comes in, and now watch, he sees that the ball's going to start to float, and he charges, gets as close as he can to the net to knock it off. Don't let the ball drop below the level of the net, because that's when it gets difficult.
Makes it deuce. McEnroe with a tough match against Javier Sanchez in the first round, and then easier, although he had a tough third set with David Engel.
Oh.
It's about as relaxed as I've seen McEnroe deliver that serve and volley game for a long time. It seems to be flowing all in one motion.
McEnroe leads 3-love in the first.